Hello everyone and welcome to a very special version of What If One Shot. Now this one will be a little bit different from my usual videos. I got this idea when browsing the deepest depths of Reddit and I thought it was low-key cool as hell. Sorry to whoever thought it up. Anyways, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And if you want to see more, I will link a playlist down below. That being said, let's get into what if DEKU could reset or awaken Quirks. Let me first tell you how his quirk works. DEKU will be born to Inko and Hisashi Midoriya, being born with a mutation quirk of both of their quirks, an anomaly. By the second he was born, weird things would happen around him. DEKU coming out with his eyes glowing a light shade of green. Everyone was confused. This kid's got a mutation type? They come closer, DEKU reaching his freshly born arm out to one of the doctors, almost off of instinct. The doctor that lent in had a quirk that allowed him to see up to 3 times magnification. DEKU, once coming into contact with the doctor, would activate his quirk, the quirk to awaken or reset someone's quirk. The doctor's eyes immediately zooming in more and more, his eyes seeing skin cells. This was amazing. His quirk awakened? Everyone was astounded. This baby's quirk is amazing. Another doctor comes close to him, having a weak water quirk. He tries to use it. His quirk being weaker? That doesn't make any sense. The doctors pile in, their quirks being boosted or reset. They would later pile out, DEKU getting his quirk there and then, the power to boost or reset. DEKU grew up a little bit like with a chip on his shoulder. He's had a quirk since birth and it was decently strong. He's had no doubts he could become a hero. He'd be sent the same canon school, meeting Bakugo and actually befriending him. Playing heroes together until the age of 4 when Bakugo awakened his quirk. DEKU was amazed. An explosion quirk? DEKU reached out, touching Bakugo's hand, feeling a strange feeling inside. DEKU looks at his hands, feeling a tingle in his palms. He activates something, Bakugo's quirk, shooting explosions for about 10 seconds before Bakugo once again gains control. The class goes silent. DEKU just borrowed Bakugo's quirk. That's so cool. DEKU become the new favorite in class. This continues on, DEKU and Bakugo playing hero, training, sparring out the backyard for the next few years until DEKU and Bakugo were both 14, having both signed up for the gym and martial arts together. They were ready. Sitting in class, the teacher does the whole "I know you want to be heroes." DEKU and Bakugo looking at each other, not even needing to say anything. The class would end, them going a different direction, as DEKU would need to go to the shop on his way home. He walks down a shortcut, walking through a tunnel and under a manhole hearing something come out of it. He turns and sees a sludge villain rising from the cover. His eyes widen, looking at the sludge villain in front of him. As it lunges right at him, DEKU sticks his hand out, praying it works. He closes his eyes. The second he feels contact, he opens them. The sludge villain in front of him was gone. Stood there was a naked white dude. DEKU looked in horror. Ugh, what the fuck? The guy looks down. You'd never seen his actual body before. He covers up and tries to run away, but All Might himself jumps out of the sewers. DEKU points at the man, saying his quirk was about to run out. All Might's like, run out? As the sludge villain begins to form once again. All Might snaps out of it and punches the villain square, painting him onto the floor. In the sludge, by the way. No, he isn't just a random dude anymore. DEKU and All Might talk. What did he mean, run out? DEKU explains. His quirk was the ability to reset, awaken, or steal a quirk though he can't control it. It's completely random chance and he can't do more than 3 at a time. All Might looks in shock. Who was this kid? DEKU looked at his hands. So I must have reset his power. Thank God. All Might wonders something. What if Never mind. He collects the villain and jumps off, telling DEKU he can be a great hero before he goes. DEKU getting mad motivation for this, before running home. He tells Bakugo about his encounter. They talk a little and their 10-month training period begins. During this time, DEKU would unlock more and more of his quirk. He can now steal a quirk from someone for 30 seconds, 30 seconds max depending on their quirk strength. His reset power also works for 30 seconds, but his awakening power works for 1 minute. This is good in Deku's eyes. but Bakugo reminds him, what if he makes a villain awaken? Then what? Deku was stumped by this. He had to figure something out. The UA entrance exam comes up. Deku and Bakugo sitting the theory before walking into the practice site. Deku lining up and getting ready. He knew what he had to do. He trained for this. The doors open and Deku rushes in, using straight physical power to disable some one-pointers. He gets about 8 points from this method. Knowing it's not enough though, he keeps running around. Every time he sees someone in need, he would try and help them out as much as possible, trying his hardest to power them up. Which sometimes he would, but sometimes he would reset them though. Deku about 2 times stealing their quirks too. This helps him get to about 17 hero points and 45 rescue points. The bell goes off, marking the end. Deku pants. His quirk had never been used to this. He begins to walk off, being stopped by a little mouse man wearing a suit. He's brought inside and asked about his quirk. He explains it. Ah, so that's it. So those students out there were getting awakened and reset then, yes? Deku nods. Some I did steal, though I played it off as reset power to keep it on the low. I don't like using others' quirks unless I have permission. Nezu looks on at Deku. Well, that won't do. I'll have you admitted first thing tomorrow. Welcome to UA, Deku. Deku's shocked, walking home and bragging to Bakugo that he's already in. The rest goes on, them training until school starts. Deku sits in class. He was admitted early, but he never went in. This is his first time. He looked around, getting stared at by Aizawa in the hallway before class. They sit down and begin talking before they go inside. They do so, Deku in this timeline being thrown the ball. He sits there as Aizawa explains the rules. Throw it with your quirk. His quirk wasn't physical. What should he do? He leans back and throws it full might. 88 meters. Not bad, kid, but I said with your quirk. Bakugo comes to his defense. His quirk isn't... Deku leans in, touching his chest, closing his eyes. He once again throws the ball. 33 meters. The class goes silent. Wow. Underwhelming. Deku sighs. He was trying to awaken his body, but I guess not. The test goes on and Aizawa keeps an eye on him. Deku's still placing 6th place and Bakugo getting 3rd. Class is dismissed and Deku is held back after class, explaining his quirk to Aizawa personally. Aizawa takes a liking to him. Their quirks were similar in a way. Deku had much more potential though. He decides to train him personally. School continues for about 2 weeks, when suddenly All Might comes through the door like a normal person. Everyone freaks out, even Deku. They get their costumes on and meet down at Ground Gamma. They once again pull the same lots as in canon, Deku grinning at Bakugo as their names are called out. They group up and walk to the entrance, Deku saying he's got a plan already. The timer starts. Deku and Deku and Uraraka walk inside, rushing upstairs to the 2nd floor and looking around, rushing to the 3rd floor and being met by Bakugo. Deku tells Uraraka it's up to her, touching her back and concentrating hard. Uraraka feels a surge of power, nodding and floating past Bakugo, without a sweat. Deku smirks, touching his chest again. Come on, don't fail me now. Activating his quirk, his muscles bulk up. Finally, Deku and Bakugo grin. They've been trying to do this for a while now. It's time to dance. They rush at each other, Deku have awakened his body's limit, so about 3 times his strength. Versing Bakugo, they clash. Deku and Bakugo throwing straight hands at each other. Deku trying to touch Bakugo, pause, but getting no openings. They keep going, full scrapping until they hear something over the intercom. Hero team wins! Deku smirks, powering down and stopping. Uraraka rushed past Bakugo. Her quirk being awakened allowed her to control the gravity around her. She rushed into Ida's room and kept him as still as possible as she floated right to the bomb. They shake hands and walk back to their room. Deku telling this class his quirk after being pestered. They're all amazed, asking him to do them next. Pause. After that, class is slow, being taught the basics until the pros tell them about the USJ. They're all hype. Everyone getting signed up and hopping on the bus. The regular chat like in canon happens. Froppy asking everyone what they think, who they think has the best quirk. Everyone actually says Deku and Todoroki in this timeline. Deku has an offensive and defensive quirk. It's really kind of broken actually. They haven't really seen the half of it yet. They walk into the USJ, getting the chat by Pro Hero 13 until Aizawa notices something a little suspicious. The villains. alerting the class and 13 about them before jumping off. Deku screams, "Wait!" running over and touching his back, concentrating hard as he can. Aizawa feeling a power boost like he'd never felt before. "Thanks, kid." He jumps down, bodying the photo villains. 13 strategizes with the class before Korigiri warps up. Deku knows he has to do something, tapping Ida and telling him to run. Ida does so, going Recipro Burst straight in the direction of UA. Okay, pause by the way. Mid-story, you're telling me their life was on the line in canon, and this dickhead didn't use Recipro Burst to go run to the fucking school? Like, what? Are you serious? Anyway, Deku had one target left. Aizawa had at most 30 seconds left. Ida had at most 40 seconds. Right now, he had to worry about himself. He was free falling. Closing his eyes and being caught by a froppy, they strategize and jump back to shore, seeing Aizawa still fighting Shigaraki. Shigaraki's tweaking. How is Aizawa this strong? Someone did something. Deku looks over. Who's that? He feels his quirk going out of effect on Aizawa. This could be bad. Shigaraki speaks. "Nomu, kill the pro." Nomu rushes at Aizawa. Deku, seeing it, turns to him, fearing the worst. Deku rushes over to erase ahead, jumping in the way at the last second. Sticking his hand out, he clips a Nomu before tanking the punch by it. He coughs up blood before standing up. Regeneration, huh? I'm lucky you had such a nice quirk. Aizawa takes his scarf out as Deku had the Nomu's quirks. He knew about Deku's time limit, rushing to get him captured before All Might himself broke down the door. They made it. All Might rushing down and taking care of the rest of them. Shigaraki and Korigiri escaping just in time though. Deku kicks himself over this before going back to class, getting told about the UA Sports Fest. Deku trains this time by using his connections with UA to get some subjects for him. Through this, and throughout the week, he would strengthen his quirk, allowing him to somewhat select who to awaken and who to reset, though not being able to steal deliberately. He was ready for the Sports Fest. He lines up at the start line, ready to jump off as soon as possible. The gun clicks and he rushes off, sticking as tied first place as Bakugo and Todoroki for a while, until the huge pit. He loses ground and ends up getting third place, pairing with Bakugo in the cavalry battle. He would then get through the 1v1. Deku was first, paired off against Shinso. Deku and Shinso walk into the middle of the arena, staring each other down. The bell rings and Deku begins to rush Shinso. Shinso starting to trash talk. Deku thinks this is weird, keeping his mouth shut before grabbing Shinso and throwing him onto the floor. He notices Shinso wasn't fighting back. Deku grinned. Not even using his quirk, he flips Shinso out of bounds. The crowd goes nuts. The next match begins. Deku versus Todoroki. Them once again walking to the middle of the stage before shaking hands. They step back. Deku lowering his stance down. He only had one chance at this. The bell goes off. Deku holding his chest would awaken his physical body just as Todoroki shoots the ice at him. Deku dodges and rushes at him. He notices how much Todoroki relies on his quirk. Maybe up close he wasn't that great. Deku capitalizes, running in and throwing a punch after punch, dodging and weaving until he finally gets a hand on him. Touching his back, Deku activates his quirk. All he needs is a reset. He thinks hard. Todoroki, feeling this, touches his foot to the floor, activating his ice. A huge geyser of ice being sent out. Everyone in the crowd almost being frozen solid, like legitimately centimeters away. Deku was flash frozen, being declared the loser. His quirk messed him up. Bummer. He would watch on from the sidelines, cheering everyone else on until the winners were decided. The class resumes after that, Aizawa explaining the internships to them. Deku, looking through his folder, would pick Aizawa, as they already work together. Let's just say he helps him against Stain 2. I can't be explained. I can't be asked explaining it though. Let's just say he took his quirk or something, I don't know. Deku resumes class once again, this time being told about the training camp that's approaching. Everyone getting excited. 3 days of unrelenting quirk use. They load onto the bus, rushing off. They stop atop a mountain, the teachers chatting before boosting the kids off. Pointing at the camp in the distance, They make it there. In the first 2 days, Deku's training to control his quirk once again. This would go until the 3rd day. Deku, beginning the forest walk alone, would stumble into a villain, Darby, dodging his fire and kicking him before he melts to mud. A clone. Deku looks around. Not good. He runs back from where he came from, telling the teachers everything and about telling the teachers everyone gets what the fuck? Telling the teachers as everyone gets to fighting. Due to them getting told earlier, people are more alert, though Bakugo still gets taken. Here's where the main difference comes in though. Momo putting the tracker on the Nomu would lead the heroes to the raiding the villain's hideout. Now, in this timeline, Deku would be brought along. They believe he could help their chances dramatically. Deku stood waiting on as the heroes break down Kamino until All For One appears. Deku holds his hand out, touching All Might. I hope this works. He closes his eyes, yelling, "Awaken!" Energy would begin to cackle around All Might. He felt great. Looking down All For One, finally with the power to end him for good. All Might readies his fist, stepping and borderline teleporting in front of All For One, sending a punch that legit brings a storm with him. All For One being completely evaporated by this. With this, the League is captured and everything goes to plan. Yeah, that's it. Catch yous, I guess.